Welcome to my house tour, part 1, the living room. This is what it looks like now after a whole bunch of little projects, but it used to look like this, and this, and this, and this. My very first project in here was these cedar shelves. I literally used a screwdriver to put those brackets into place because I didn't have any power tools yet. Then I got a wild hair and decided to demo this fireplace. This was my very first demo project. Then I got to work putting it back together. I'd always wanted a hearth, so I built one. This was December of 2020 when the world was shut down, so I needed a project to occupy my mind. I figured this was a good place to start because I wanted a gorgeous fireplace for Christmas decor. I know we all remember how terrible 2020 was, and this really helped. Then I decided that the coffee table that we had didn't really match up with the living room or the shape of the couch. So I got to work building my own. I had the best idea. I wanted to make these nesting coffee tables so that way we can make them as big or small as we needed to. I used a whole bunch of 1x3 common board, MDF to attach it all to, brad nails, glue, and then 2x4s for the legs that I cut down. Now the really cool thing about these is that the legs are wood, but everybody thinks that they're metal. I'm still so in love with how these turned out several years later. The plans to build these are actually in my Etsy shop if you want to build some of your own. The nesting feature really comes in handy. As you saw in the beginning of this video, I had this blank random corner wall that I didn't know what to do with. Then one day on Instagram, I saw some inspiration and I just had to build a bar. This is the perfect place for it. And of course, it had to have an arch just like the inspiration video I saw. And the best part, this bar is mostly made out of scraps that I had in my garage, so it cost me next to nothing. I'm so proud of it. Then I found this really cool wall map that I just had to have. It's made out of real wood and stained, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Then the next project was giving these windows some character. They only had a piece of trim on the bottom along with the window seal, so I started by removing all of that. Then I trimmed them out. I had this MDF that was left over. It's not the best thing for painting, but it'll work just fine, especially if it's free. Because of how close these windows are together, I had to put the 1x2 outer trim together before I installed it because I couldn't get my nail gun in there at the right angle. Then it was time for paint. I have all my doors, trim, baseboards, all of it painted accessible beige by Sherwin-Williams. It goes perfectly with alabaster by Sherwin-Williams on my walls. I ordered some bamboo shades from Amazon, but when they came in, you can see that they were really yellow. And that is not the color that I was going for in here. And I really hate sending things back, so I decided to try to stain it. And guess what? It worked. These bamboo shades took that stain with no problem. It didn't really soak in, but it did dry on top of them, and it does not rub off. And now look at them. They are exactly what I was envisioning for this space. Now, I've gone through several sets of curtains in here. I've tried white, I've tried green, and I just didn't really like any of them. Until I went to visit my friend Michelle in California, and she had these gorgeous curtains that I thought would be great, and they're a great price on Amazon. I even got the same curtain rod as her, and this one's gold, and it's beautiful. I also bought these curtain clips with rings on them to hang the curtains instead of the other way I was hanging them before. My husband really liked our old TV stand, but it was really farmhouse and I wasn't really wanting to go in that direction anymore. So I decided to build my own. He wasn't super happy about it, but he came around. This is mostly built out of plywood, 1x2s for the face frame, and lots of brad nails and glue. The top is made of 1x4 common board, and I went around the edges with a router to give it more of a unique look. The stain I'm using here is Early American, and I love that color. I have lots of pieces of furniture in my house in that color. It's gorgeous. I even built the doors myself, and I was really proud of these. It's the first time I had put trim on the inside of the doors and routed the edges. It really gave them a more professional look. I got the doors all stained and installed, and this is probably one of my favorite pieces of furniture that I've built. Every time I look at it, I am just still so proud. I feel like every room needs some greenery. It really livens up a space. I found this fiddly fig on Amazon, and it's perfect. A really great price, too. And if you've been following me, you know I have an obsession with Laloy rugs. This one's a Magnolia Home one, and it's gorgeous. And of course, Tyler had to add his own decor too. And after a whole bunch of different projects and love put into this space, it's finally exactly how I want it. Hit that subscribe button to see part 2 of my house tour.